Izzy, is the season over yet?
No.
Will we go back to sleep or will we talk about it?
I guess talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, since our last video, Spurs have lost 3-1 at home to Man United and they have drawn away to Newcastle. I think it was 1-1. I can't even remember. I just shut off watching it. It was 1-1. It was 1-1, wasn't it? Oh, whatever. 2-2.
I think it was.
It doesn't matter. It was a draw. We didn't win. That's the main thing. And I know perspective changes. You know, it's because we're on the slide. We're on the way down.
Yeah.
We have been worse, but I would say that this is the worst Spurs have been since the start of the 2008-2009 season, when they sold their two top strikers at the same time and didn't adequately replace them, and it ended up with 2 points in the first 10 games or something ridiculous and sacked the manager. It's as bad as that. Okay, admittedly we're not in relegation danger, but for just the absolute negative feeling that and I think most of the fan base have, whether it's just anger, whether it's just apathy, just general frustration and disappointment, whatever cocktail of all those feelings, it's the worst it's been since then. Look, like just we'd have a quick chat about the United game. I thought we played reasonably well in the first half.
Yeah.
I thought they were very lucky to finish that half with 11 players.
Because they were like fouling.
Well, they did. There was a lot of fouling, but it was specifically the foul on Son that their goal was disallowed for.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing swinging your arms around, just fending off another player like this or something. That's one thing. But when your arm is here and then you deliberately push it out like that into someone's face, well, that's a free and a yellow card. Lamela got booked and sent off for doing pretty much the same thing against Arsenal. But yet, when it's Man United doing it, well, it's never a foul. So yeah, but I'm not saying that them going down to 10 players would have actually made any difference, considering how bad we were in the second half. Again, shockingly, I've seen us worse, but we just didn't really go for it. And at 1-1, it was like we were playing for the draw. I mean, the draw was no good. We had to win that game to have any chance of top four. And what does he do? He takes off Lo Celso and brings on Sissoko. Sissoko, who at the best of times is there to just shore things up. And he's been awful lately, and he was awful again. Yeah, it's so negative. You've got Bale on the bench. You need to win. You might as well lose 3 or 4-0 as draw. We had to win that game. Had to go for it. Didn't do it. Absolutely disgraceful. Didn't bring him on until we were losing. And Groundhog Day. You haven't seen the film Groundhog Day, have you?
No.
It's a bit like that. It's a bit like that one. It's like that one with Tom Cruise where he kept waking up on the same day.
Oh.
Whatever. What was that one called? It was like that. The man, Bill Murray out of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
He lives the same day over and over and over again. So he just wakes up and it's the same day and he knows everything that's going to happen.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, that's what it's like. Spurs play reasonably well in the first half. They score a goal and then they sit back. And they concede. They either lose or draw. Like, the Newcastle game was the same. We were watching it going, they're going to score. You know, it's just going to happen. It's inevitable. Do you remember what I was saying at half-time against United?
The second you said they're going to score, they actually scored.
Well, that was during the second half. But at half-time, I believe I predicted we were going to lose 2-1. And I was saying it again as we were sitting deeper and deeper, and then they scored. Like almost immediately afterwards. The defence was awful again. Cavani was just too good for Dyer. He kept just getting in behind him. Dyer ball watching, and most infuriatingly, putting his hand up for offside when he could have gone back and cleared, had at least got a challenge in to clear the ball from Fred for their first goal. Absolutely disgraceful. And Hugo made a really good save from that. And no Spurs player in there tried to put that into the stand because they're there. Their hands up for offside when it was never offside. It's just so infuriating. You got to play the whistle. Dyer's been guilty of that a few times. You have to play the bloody whistle, man. Suppose the other argument is he hasn't played in a long time and he's put straight in against good opponents. What do we expect from him? Like, I don't know. I see both sides of it, but it was very disappointing. We had a couple of chances in that second half as well. Kane and Son both had decent chances, and there was also an effort came off the post, which would have been an own goal, I think. But like we could have got it. We wouldn't have been embarrassed. What am I saying? We wouldn't have been flattered, is the word. We wouldn't have been flattered if we had to score another goal in that second half, and that game would have been 2-2. I think at 2-2, well, we probably still would have conceded the third one, but I think it's the accumulation of it, rather than just the United game itself. The accumulation of all those games. The Sky were showing this graphic of stats, which I was looking for there on the computer and couldn't find. But the gist of it is that for goals scored in the first half and leading at half time, Spurs are towards the top. They're in the top couple of teams in the league. Okay? And when it comes to losing leads and letting in goals in the last 10 minutes, we're down the very bottom. We're down in the last 2 or 3. So there's something wrong. The team cannot concentrate till the end. There's so many ridiculous individual errors that you can't blame the coach for. You can't keep blaming the coach for the things that Dyer and Sanchez and Davies and co are doing. But at the same time, the coach needed to bring on Bale and he brought on Sissoko, and that's on him. Like, they're both to blame. And you know how I feel about the chairman. It just feels this everything is to blame. And it's barely 2 years ago since we were in the Champions League final, which seems like some sort of a hallucination now. Like it just never happened. It's a mirage. So yeah, we are falling like a dead weight. We are really sinking. I think the top 4 is gone now. We definitely needed a win. Even a draw. If we had a draw, I would be saying the same thing. The top 4 is gone. It's definitely gone. We're playing Everton on Friday away, where we drew last time after 90 minutes, lost after extra time. And we're arguably the better team for a lot of the game. They just took their chances. And then we're playing Southampton at home the following Wednesday.
And then the final.
And then the game against Man City. Now, you do remember that if we somehow, against all odds, manage to win that game, you have to do our next video after that in a panda suit.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's the deal, so hopefully we win just to do that. But yeah, we've a cup final coming up in a week and a half, and we should be amped for it. We really should. And I'm somewhere between dreading it because I think we're going to get beaten by 2 or 3. I don't think we're going to get beaten by 6 or 7. But I think we're going to huff and puff and ultimately lose by 2 or 3. And it's going to be like watching the train crash in slow motion. We might have a few moments and count ourselves unlucky here and there, but ultimately I don't think we're ever going to get a chance. I really hope I'm proven wrong, but I just don't see it. I mean, are you looking forward to it?
Kind of and kind of no.
Yeah?
Yeah, and like, I do want us to win, but I feel like, are we really going to win?
Oh, look, no doubt, I obviously want us to win. I mean, we've read stuff there on Twitter, so-called Spurs fans wanting us to lose because it means Jose's gone quicker. No, mate, no. It doesn't matter whether Jose's the manager or who the manager is. I want us to win the final.
Yeah.
I want us to win every game. Okay?
Yeah.
But particularly, I want us to win the final against Man City. Really do. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it just seems so unlikely at this stage. The team looks broken. I mean, did you see Son's interview?
No.
After Man United game? I mean, he looked broken. He looked like he was going. He just needed to go. He looked like he needed a big hug from his mammy. He looked like he needed a big hug from his mammy, or he got to go and crawl into a corner somewhere and sit down and cry. I mean, it's just heartbreaking stuff, you know. And with all those experienced players, who did they, as well as Son, who did they put out to talk to the media? It was young Roden. Also pretty upset. And in fairness, he played pretty well. I mean, he's been our best defender in the last couple of games. Last 3 or 4 games, he's been our best defender.
He has a thing for aliens.
Okay, well, look. Will we go there?
No.
We'll go there because maybe talking about which sports players believe in aliens is less depressing than actually talking about Spurs and Mourinho. So tell me about about the aliens.
It was some video with Bale and Roden.
Yeah.
And the question was, do you believe in aliens? But he doesn't really.
Does Bale believe in aliens?
Yeah, because the USA showed proof.
Look, I think Bale is winding the young fella up. Pity he wouldn't be out there doing extra training. Well, I don't know, he's not doing extra training, but out there doing everything he can to get himself into the team rather than making videos about aliens with Roden. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't care what they believe in. What I do, well, what I want them to believe in, I want them to believe they can go out and win matches and that they're prepared to run through walls in order to do so, instead of just giving in as soon as things get hard. You could see it. After we scored a goal, we immediately just set back. Even at the end of the first half, it's like we're hanging on until half time. What are we doing?
We should be trying to get another goal.
And United had barely a shot on goal in that first half. They had their disallowed goal, and that was it. I don't think they'd done their shot, and they'd took 11 shots in the second half. Why couldn't we just play like we did in the first half on the front foot? I just don't get it. There's something desperately wrong. So we'll see. We'll see. There's one thing for definite. There's no easy answer to it. Whatever the question is and the problem is, there's no easy answer to it.
Yeah.
It's not a case changing the players and keeping Mourinho isn't going to help. It's not going to do it. Keeping the players and getting rid of Mourinho isn't going to do it either. And anything bigger than that, getting rid of a lot of them, which of course isn't going to happen. There's no way either of anything extreme here. It's just in the theory of it. There's nothing extreme like that. Even if Levy ups and sells the club, no matter what happens, it's going to take years to get back to where we were, and we may not. And if you are Harry Kane and you're 28 years of age and you're thinking of 2 or 3 really good years left in me, I mean, you saw your man Cavani still looking sharp and he's 34. Ibrahimovic is out. Ibrahimovic is playing in Italy and he's 40 or something. I don't know. He's old anyway. Some players can just keep playing. I mean, Kane could play for a good bit, yes, but at his absolute peak, he's got 2, maybe 3 years left. Once he stays free of really serious injury. And is he going to win the league with Spurs in that time or the Champions League? The answer is no, he is not. It's not going to happen.
Unless it's a miracle.
A miracle? Yeah, they would want to be so. It would want to be the miracle of all miracles.
Yeah. Super miracle.
A Leicester City style miracle. Yeah, those things don't happen to Spurs. We just don't get those things.
It might happen, you never know.
Our miracle was getting to the Champions League final. That was our miracle. I was thinking there the other night that somewhere along the line did someone sell their soul for that comeback in Amsterdam against Ajax. That the deal was, You win this game, you get to the Champions League final, but everything is going to crumble and fall apart afterwards. Did someone sell their soul to the devil to make that happen? Because it feels that way. It feels like it has just gone downhill since. What? That game was in May. By that November, Poch was gone. Mourinho was in. And we haven't really got a whole lot better in the time since. And other teams around us have. And yeah, we're sinking. We're sinking big time. Anyway, look, that's it for today. Unless you have anything else to add, I think it is probably time to go back to sleep. You know?
Yeah.
We'll hope. Look, we were not going to go to sleep for the rest of the season, but we'll
hibernate.
I'm not going to say we're going to look forward to the next couple of games. We'll watch them and hope for the best, but looking forward is just not it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there you go. So, is there any tomfoolery to be had? No, not really. Yeah, the enthusiasm has been smacked out of us. Spurs have knocked the stuffing out of us. Right. I'm off. That's that.
Yeah.